Just a bit of a disclaimer for the first 5 minutes of this Hermitcraft episode. It was recorded at 10 frames a second. This is totally my own fault. I set it to 10 frames a second to save space on a time-lapse, and I forgot to change it back. It's ruined a lot of videos, and it's a massive pain in the backside. But this reaction was far too good to miss. Hello everyone, this is Mumbo, and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 53, and today I have looked up and then looked straight down and hit the record button because I have spotted something above my base that I definitely didn't put there. This was not me. What's on... that's a guardian. Wow, that's a huge guardian. Perspective kind of played me with... I thought they were single blocks. Perspective really messed with my head then. This thing's enormous. What on earth is that? Just what? Are there any signs or anything? No information anywhere? That is a spect. That's the size of my base. That must have taken hours. Oh! Oh! My God. Oh. That was a proper girly scream. Okay, I've gone and got one firework rocket, so let's see if we can make our way up here and try and work out exactly what is going on. So by the look of things, not only has an Elder Guardian been built in my base, but also there is an Elder Guardian inside this thing. And due to the fact that the Elder Guardian, of course, gives you mining fatigue, which also has a spoon as a logo, which is very, very nice indeed. It means that it is going to take about 14 months for us to actually break in. Hopefully this isn't solid. Thank goodness for that. So if we pop down here, there is yet a smaller Elder Guardian. It's like one of those dolls, those Russian dolls. And then I'm assuming inside this guy there is actually going to be an Elder Guardian. I don't know how to kill these things. I can't remember if they're like heavy duty, serious business bruisers, or if they're really, really easy to kill. Like, I can't remember if they're hard as nails or not. Oh my word, that was literally like a horror film. Was that not like a horror film? Oh my gosh! I'm so gone! Oh my word! He's hard as nails. I remembered the technique. I've just logged back in and I have remembered the technique. So all I have to do is kind of cycle around this block. I'm sorry for combat logging. Yeah, I know I'm going to get blasted for that down in the comment section. But sometimes a noob has just got to be a noob. And I am a total noob. Okay. God, the thorns is absolutely brutal. Oh, yes. We got him. We got some sponge. And we also got an Elder Guardian head, which I cannot put on due to my curse of binding helmet. Oh, and now we're stuck here. We are totally stuck here. That was so close, though. We were so close to dying. Oh, that was weird. He looked like me. I thought I was being followed by me. And we're back at a super smooth 60 frames a second. I can't believe I was such an idiot there. One spoon moment for the previous Hermitcraft episode, which was entirely recorded at 10 frames a second. I actually didn't notice. I just thought my computer was being slow when I was playing it back. One spoon moment for the Redstone video that I recorded at 10 frames a second. Another spoon moment for the other Redstone video I recorded at 10 frames a second. And one more for the start of this episode. I don't deserve to be a big YouTuber, do I? Anyway, here is my super storage system for the sugarcane. It's entirely temporary, but it's also entirely functional. I'm now going to go AFK overnight, and I will return tomorrow, which is Sunday, the day this episode releases, because today I've spent the entire time re-recording videos I've already recorded. I think that deserves about 15 other spoon moments. And we are back on the server. Right, let's pop down to the bottom here, and... okay, we've got one full double chest, a second full double chest, a third full... Three double chests, and also this one is partially filled as well. Don't really know how that came about, but we've got near on 6 full double chests of sugarcane over the course of probably about 14 hours. I mean, look how much flows in. I love ridiculous farms in Minecraft. Ridiculous farms in Minecraft are some of my favourite things on the whole planet. Look! That is mega. Next up, I need a whole ton of quartz, so we're going to do a 1-hour quartz mining session. I'll see you on the other side. So in today's time-lapse chat, I want to talk to you about what I got to do on Friday morning, because it was a really special experience for me, and I just hope that everyone else involved also had a really good time as well, because I got to go go-karting with a chap called Joseph and the rest of his family. Now, they were flown in from the USA, and they were brought into London, and then they got a limo from London to a local go-karting track near me, so that we could spend the morning together going go-karting, and then having some lunch and everything like that afterwards. Now, all of this was put on by Make-A-Wish. I'm sure you all know what Make-A-Wish does, but Joseph's wish was to meet me and chill out with me for the morning, and he had chosen as an activity to go go-karting, which I have to say is probably the coolest thing he possibly could have picked, because I personally absolutely love cars and I love racing, and I'm also incredibly competitive, and we were getting very competitive out there on the track. It was just us 4 on the track. There was no one else there, and we were absolutely zipping round. There was some slightly crazy overtakes. There was some spin-offs into barriers. We had some very close competition going on, some tailgating, trying to cut each other up. I think there was some like Mario Kart style drifting going on. It was hugely exciting. We got to have 3 sessions. We were all comparing times afterwards. We were looking at our graphs of how fast we've been throughout the duration of it. It was honestly fantastic. I had an absolutely brilliant time, and I just want to extend out a massive thank you to both Make-A-Wish and also Joseph for choosing to spend time with me, because I had a seriously good time. I really enjoyed the experience, and I just hope it was good for you as well. So of course, we're going to stay in touch. Keep me updated if you manage to beat that level that you were stuck on in Geometry Dash, and I hope you enjoyed your stay in the UK. But anyway, let's pop back onto the Hermitcraft server. And that, my friends, is that. We have got ourselves one full inventory of nether quartz. There's only about 5 minutes left of the mining session anyway, so this should be good. Now I just have to find out how to get home. Oh, this is terrifying. This is absolutely terrifying. I think 190... I think I'm going in the right direction. I can't really tell. What a champion! I've made it home. I can't really tell what I've done here, but I've done something very stupid. Oh, I see. I took out all of the glass, ran the quartz across, and then couldn't work out why I couldn't reach the ceiling with this one. This doesn't look right. Now that that one's finally fixed up, I think I should probably also start removing some of the scaffolding and things that I've left lying around my base, because yeah, this sort of thing doesn't really fit in with the theme. And oh my word, this entire pathway is basically knocked out. Wow. Guys, it looks a little bit odd. Oh, not again. Really? Oh, actually, no, that looks pretty cool. I actually worry about myself sometimes. I mean, seriously, how do I manage to get things wrong so often? I've just worked out why it looks weird. This first one is put on different blocks to the other ones. So this one starts actually 2 blocks back from the actual beginning. So those are the 4, and then we have that one, then that one. Whereas all the other ones going around the outside start from the second block back, which means that this V is smaller than this V. In fact, all 3 of these Vs are smaller than this V. How frustrating. How frustrating is that? Oh. Now the big question is, do I change all 3 of the other ones for every single one of these, or just change the first one? Now I know I could be biased here because I don't really fancy rebuilding 3/4 of each one of these, but I actually prefer the other ones. That one's got a bit of a funny curve in it, which I don't particularly like that much. This one it is. 1 down, 4 left to go. This thing is looking pretty cool. Everything's been modified. I've also cleaned up the place as well, got rid of all of the scaffolding. And I have to say, now that it's all kind of leveled out, I do quite like it. Originally, I was a little bit worried, but now this thing is looking awesome. Okay, I'm going to do one more, and then I think I'm going to split this project up by starting work on the next farm. One quick thing that I want to mention is I've seen a few people down in the comment section saying I should try a big M design. So we've got the big V, that's what this thing is, but the big M would come up like this and then go down like that. It will create like a big crown going round. I do think that would be quite cool. I definitely think it's something that I should probably try out. But for the time being, I just want to get all the V's in place before we start messing about with M's. I've made another change to the design. These are 1 block further back than the things above, and I think it makes it look a tiny bit awkward, whereas this is on the same level. And if we take a look at it from the side, it just looks a tiny bit better. I don't know if I'm going crazy here. I've been working on these for quite some time, but I do think that looks a tiny bit better. I've taken down, rebuilt, destroyed, reconstructed these things so many times now. I'm starting to hate the letter V, that's for sure. It actually turns out that this entire thing is wrong. This entire big diamond thing, the diamond's fine, don't worry about that, but all of the structures running up to it have been built in the wrong place. They're 1 block bigger in every direction than they should be, which means I'm having to take it all down and rebuild everything. Brilliant. It definitely seems necessary. Oh! Oh no! I've used up all of my spoon moments. I'm gonna have to let Exuma know it. That strange noise that I just made was meant to be a no. I don't know what came out of my mouth. Oh, for goodness sake, I've spoiled another problem. What is wrong with me today? And this is it. We should finally be done on the diagonals. I thought this was just gonna be a fast little project that I could work on between starting the next project, but this has taken many, many hours. And I still have a few little bits and pieces missing. I've got a little bit of scaffolding dotted around up at the top there. But it's finally all done. The number of mistakes and the number of things that I wanted to change while I was building this, like every single time I constructed one of them, I had an idea for something that I thought would make it look a tiny bit better. And that really did create a few problems for me. But anyway, I think, as far as I can tell, we'll pop up to the top here and just remove all of this scaffolding. That should be it. So we have got 2 of them done. We still have another 2 left to go, but we're not going to be doing those in today's Hermitcraft episode because there is another thing that I want to work on. But there we go. We've got big V's over there and big V's over here as well, and it does look considerably cooler. I really like the way that it looks. I think it looks awesome. It's quite difficult to see with the massive guardian, but I think this one here looks a lot better due to the fact, of course, that we've got things on the inside. This still looks a little bit strange. It looks cool, but it looks a little bit strange, whereas this, with all of the sugarcane farms, definitely helps out the style. Next up, though, we are going to be popping into a creative mode world because, well, we've got another farm that we need to build, and I just want to check out a few designs. So as I'm sure you've already guessed, I want to build some form of mob farm on the Hermitcraft server. Now, in the past 3 seasons, I've used my old water dispenser design, which occasionally breaks due to dispensers and chunk loading and things like that. So I went over to Ilmango's YouTube channel and checked out his mob farm, and it seems pretty cool. I mean, obviously, it's super efficient. It is designed by Ilmango, so of course, it is going to be absolutely ridiculous. But most importantly, I got very excited about the fact that it's diamond-like. I was like, this is going to fit in perfectly with my base. It's going to be the best design ever. And then I realized this. My base is centered around 2 blocks, not 1 block, which means that this would be off-center. Not a big deal. Not a big deal, but I think it would quietly drive me a little bit mad. Now, I did have another design in mind that I'd seen on YouTube, but part of me is wondering if I could potentially modify this one. How hard could it be? I don't think it would be that hard. Now, of course, I will put Ilmango's design down in the description so that you can see the full tutorial and build it for yourselves. I would not suggest building the one that I'm doing right here, because the chances are it is grossly inefficient and much worse than the original. Just, yeah. Just watch the professional. So here comes test 1 of the system. Water coverage. Okay, good start, good start. So it does work. I know this all sounds really silly, and I should know this stuff, but I just want to make sure that it's actually going to function perfectly. And now we also have the same number of platforms that the Ilmango design has. So now we just have to check out how all of these things are connected. So we have some slime blocks, I'm assuming, because we've got melons. So I'm guessing slime blocks extend down with redstone blocks, and they literally just pop down and power all of the dispensers just like that. So we're going to have to do something similar. I suppose we could just have, yeah, like 4x4 or 2x2 area of slime blocks, 2x2 area of redstone blocks, and then a 2x2 area of redstone on every other one of the platforms. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to get things straight in my brain. So this is the setup as described in the previous clip. 2x2 area of slime blocks, 2x2 area of redstone, and then a 2x2 area of redstone dust right here, which is going to be detecting that redstone signal, which should power all of our dispensers. Here goes! Now, I was about to say that I would consider that to be a success. However, it doesn't seem to have been. These ones got powered. These ones don't. And it's because the pulse got shortened. Which I imagine is what this thing up at the top is for. Yeah, that's probably what this redstone is for. Yep, using a wooden button totally works, which means that this thing is pulse orientated. So I imagine, and in fact I can see a pulse extender up at the top there, which I think is extending out the pulse that runs down into this so that that doesn't occur. Okay, all good. Things are getting straight in my head. Now I'm just trying to think how I should do the pickup system, because this system is very smart. I just don't know if it would work if it was made one block wider. I suppose there's only one way to find out on this one. For some reason in my head, all I can think is this is not going to go particularly very smoothly. So we're going to have a dispenser there and a dispenser there. This is where the redstone line is going to be going. And that should connect up everything, and we now have the area laid out. So let's see. In an ideal world, all of those drops right there should flow towards the cobblestone walls. And they do, for the most part. We have run out of redstone signal strength out the back there. But we actually haven't created any infinite water streams or anything. So now, I guess, for its final test, we need to move this over and move over all of the redstone to the top and see if it actually functions as a mob farm and if we've actually managed to bodge together and kind of, I don't know, create some kind of, like, cut and shut mob farm. With all the redstone in, it does seem to be working apart from the bottom 2 layers. Or some of the bottom 2 layers seem to have flipped around. And something strange has also happened with this one over here, in that when I turned it off, the bottom 4 layers haven't actually switched off, or at least they've switched off but it's flipped. I can't tell if I'm doing something stupid here, but aside from those slight technical problems, as you can see from me running this for like a couple seconds, it's killing it. It is absolutely killing it. And this is a real world test. We're in a real Minecraft world with a real ocean, and we're getting these sorts of item drops. That is bonkers. No matter what I seem to do, these 2 layers right here seem to just permanently be the opposite of the rest of the farm. I've tried rewiring things, I've tried messing about with them, resetting the thing, it doesn't seem to function. But anyway, if we give this thing a full tester, now with the item pickup system, this is what the farm on the Hermitcraft server is actually going to be working like, hopefully. Let's see, so the mobs fall. Everything goes in, then the water goes in. That pushes all of the items, then the water gets retracted. Hopefully on time, all of the water gets removed just about in time. And then all of the mobs fall down. It functions. It works. Okay, so this is the plan for the next Hermitcraft episode. I am going to try and iron out the issues that we're having with these 2 layers. which actually seem to have fixed themselves. Do you see what I mean about this being weird? They seem to have fixed themselves, which is good, but very, very strange. So we go. This is the mob farm. It's working. I cannot wait to get this built, and a big thank you to Ilmango for designing it. I apologize for probably breaking it and making it horribly inefficient. Unfortunately, it has to look good. Fashion over function, 100%. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and as per usual, check out the latest film on the filming channel. It's a good one.